Hi, so I want to talk through something I've really just experienced and take into account, I don't know, the different layers of fault that puts on me, gives to me. I don't want to say puts on me, it gives to me. I'll go through the events and sort of go from there, really. Now, I'm in Bedford in the UK to come do a shower floor, and in the process of uplifting the floor, there's some damp issues, there's a crack in the shower trap collar, and these are things that will prevent me from continuing to get the floor done for this customer today. So once I've taken the floor up and put it in my rubble sack, I then have to talk to the resident. And I'm in the process of talking to her. She's explaining sort of some of the complications she's had with the shower room and just sort of talking about herself. So we then engage in conversation. One of the things she mentions is how she was practicing to become a Jehovah's Witness, but stopped that when it got to a crunch point that she felt she had to make a decision about that faith and what that would mean with her relationship to her son, who is gay, and that she was basically joining this religion alongside or under guidance by her eldest daughter. And at this point she got a little bit upset, but sort of rallied herself, didn't quite break down, but our conversation continued. And really the main bulk of the conversation was just talking about doing the right things and me explaining to her what would happen and what we'd then try and do, and a little bit of conversation about how awful it can be in today's society for customers to be treated like they should be, which is a customer should not be chasing the works people to find out what's going on with their job, especially if there is an issue. My personal feeling and how I was brought up, how the workplace used to be, is if during the course of work you've messed up and it's not the customer's fault, you do what is required to make things right. But we kind of drifted away from that, about talking about some personal things, and she was clearly Christian, and she was discussing some personal things, talking about her family, which led again to her talking about this breakdown with the relationship with her daughter and being upset and apologizing for being upset in front of me. And at this point I'd already decided that the right thing to do in that moment was to comfort her, and I did. Please don't take me wrong, I'm not talking about this because I'm saying what a hero I am. It's not. In that moment, as any of us should do when someone's in clear distress, is you give them a little bit of support, help them out, and sometimes a bit of compassion and a hug and a please don't apologize, it's not you are not at fault, can mean a lot to any of us. Even if sometimes just, I don't know, a hand on the shoulder, it's okay. But I didn't go on. I didn't break into, well, I follow Odin and the old gods and blah blah blah, and we won't accept for this. It really brought home to me in this meeting something I've kind of been dodging, which is, some time ago it was, okay, I believe in multiple gods. There are multiple gods, and I guess because I am sympathetic and value my kindred, one member of this kindred is sort of multi-faith in, if you like, her words, that she is a Sartru and Christian. So, and it's just, I've never, it would be lazy and easy to bash Christianity, but probably like all things with all faiths, there are extremists, there are passives, etc. People that are without taking into account the teachings of some works to do with a faith and that, generally are good people, and this lady is one of those people who is just a nice person. So I didn't go into any sort of spiel about a Sartru or that. She didn't ask. I sort of engaged in dialogue with her. We were talking, and it's just sort of listening to her problems or things that she's experienced, and as occasion happens, we were putting the world to rights before sort of, it was just like, well, okay, this is what's going to happen, and I need to sort of be on my way. But she then said some things that were touching, because she was very grateful for what I had done, and sort of said that I must be an angel, that I looked like one with the beard, and that God had sent me on into her path to help her in this moment, which in that moment it just strikes me that it puts a greater pressure on me to think about this thing that I've been really avoiding to some extent about talking about, which is Christianity and Jesus and God and that, and how if I accept multiple gods, there's no reason I cannot acknowledge the existence of that God, because while I don't feel that God's power or presence, or I haven't done, I don't want to be a dick about it and deny other people that is their faith and that is what they believe, because I've felt for a long time that people take comfort in their faith, and whatever they experience is their experience, and obviously, and now I'm thinking, is this some sort of test that Odin has put before me. And what is the right decision? What is the right reaction to it? I mean, it's at the base level. I would like to think I was a decent human being in a time that another human being needed a bit of comfort and someone to talk to. And I'm not offended by what the lady said, because that would be dickish in itself. It's I played it down a little bit. I am no angel. There was no angel sent for this lady, but if that helps her on her path, then I am content that I've served a purpose for her. But I know it's a very odd thing to find myself sort of caught between. I am a pagan. I have experienced the presence of Odin. I have felt the influence of Frigg, and this is Frigg's day. I mean, April 1st notwithstanding, I mean, it's perhaps a... I don't want to be cynical about it and say it's a cute joke or something like that, because it's not. I'd say it was very much a human thing to do in a human moment that I have no regrets about. The lady is a very nice lady. She seems to be someone who has worked hard throughout her life, and in her veteran years, shall we say, is still looking for answers, as many of us are, and experiencing some troubles with her children, as many of us do, questioning whether we've made the right decisions. I mean, it's really, she seems to have been put into a position where she's had to choose between her eldest daughter and her son, and questions whether she's made the right decision or not. And I think that's a cruel situation to find yourself in. I think I'll take away from it some... It was not a moment to preach about, I don't know, my faith. I mean, it kind of skirted around it a little bit without... If she'd have asked, I would have explained myself. But she didn't ask. But I do wish her well, and it was a pleasant encounter that does leave me with some, I don't know, some reminders of things that I do need to contemplate and to, I don't want to say necessarily make decisions about, but consider. And obviously, if you watch this video and listen to the story, you may have your own ideas about it. It's still sort of a beneath the surface level of a emotional sort of... I feel emotional. I mean, I guess really it's just, why is it so hard for some people to be decent and compassionate to other people. Why are there gods that have to be such a challenge to the people they want to follow them? It's a day. A day indeed. Thank you very much for watching. And maybe an update to this specific video, I don't know. But for now, I think there's a certain power in the power of compassion. And the power to just be decent and help as and when you can, even if the situation might be a little tough. Thank you. Goodbye.